Hello everyone and welcome to MPUG. Today we are going to talk about how to define and execute an effective resource management strategy with Project Online and Power BI. That sounds amazing, right? Yes. My name is Allan Rocha and today I'm speaking on behalf of UNOPS or United Nations, and let's get started then. Hope you enjoy it. So that's our agenda for today. So what we are going to talk is it's a very simple agenda, a little introduction, a quick introduction about myself. After that, we will jump directly to the maturity model overview. What are the most asked questions you should ask yourself before doing anything? What do you need to know exactly before you start investing on anything like that? Then we will directly for understanding the model. What are the drivers for resource management model? So what are the benefits that I can get implemented? Why I should implement this? Terminology, really important and key point on all these. You need to be aligned with your terminology. Levels and dimensions, we will actually give you an idea how to use the tool and how to use the model. And after that, we talk about the roadmap. That means how you can grow the solution, how you can use the model to support your growing and maturity. After that, we will jump directly to applying the model and getting some demo, talking about the infrastructure that is necessary for you to start using this right now, the assessment approach, how can this be actually used to help you applying the tool in your organization, process definition, how actually the process is defined and what are the key points that you must consider before starting designing your process. Steps in Project Online, so it's a demo, and reporting with Power BI. Hope you enjoyed, and let's get started then. As I said, my name is Allan Rocha. Today I'm Program, Portfolio and Project Management Analyst at United Nations, specifically UNOPS. I'm a Microsoft Project MVP for the last 6 years. I also work with the PPM solution for the last 12 years with more than 5 different countries and a lot of experience in the area. So actually I know exactly what works and what doesn't work in this tool. I also write for 2 blogs. One of them is PPM for All, which is an English blog, and mundoepm.com.br, which is a Portuguese blog. I have 2 books published. One of those is actually Microsoft Project 2013, Standard Professional and Pro for Office 365. You can find it on Amazon, iTunes, anywhere. Feel free to use it. It's a very, very relevant book for this session. So let's start then. Here is there are a lot of available models out there. So you feel free to take a look at them. It's like you don't need to follow exactly one model, but you have to learn them and take what is the best for your organization in each one of those. So feel free to Google it and you will find a lot of models out there. First of all, do I need a model? This is a very, very important question because most of the times when we talk to people, they said, no, I have an idea what I need to do. I know that I can actually just use this. I know what I want, but do I need a model? And the answer is yes. You need a model because model will give you a lot of tool sets to help you define this, help you growing. So business drivers, benefits, all the alignment about the terminology, levels, dimensions, how can I combine those two? Will give you roadmaps instead of just I think that I know that. So the answer for if I need a model, I would recommend as a yes, you need a model. So going further, what are the most asked questions in regards of resource management maturity models? So first of all, are we aligned here? That means, do we know what we want to have with this tool? So we are going to the same direction? Why should I do it? Why should I invest in resource management maturity model or a tool to actually support this tool set? So why should I do it? Are we talking the same language here? So are we using the same terms for the same things? How is this going to work? How it works? How this model combined with a tool works? What does it mean? What all this information means for me? So what exactly I'm talking and actually selling internally into my organization? How can I start doing this? Do I need to know how to start? Are people out there that knows how to do? How can I start? And what can I do? It's very important that you have a big picture of what you want and what it's possible to do. Otherwise, you'll be limited at some point. Where am I going? Very important questions like, do you know the direction you want to go? You must know at least a little bit where you're going. So those are the questions that I want you to think about it, and we will explore those questions a little bit more in the next slide. But keep this in your mind because they are really important questions, and it's actually helping us to define if we are ready or not ready to start investing on this. So what I'm going to show right now is something I have done. It's like I made a table here with all those questions, and I made a scale of knowledge. That means most of the time when I ask people in regards of those questions, I will show you here a common answer scenario, an average scenario. And you have between, I have no idea what you're talking about, I have an idea, so I probably know a little bit, or I know about it, or I have no doubts, I'm 100% sure. So that's the scale, and this scale is going to help us defining and telling you if you're ready to invest on this or not. So first of all, are we aligned? Most of the people say, yeah, we are. I know about it. I know what we are going to do. I know why we are doing this. Second, why should I do it? Why should I do it? I have no idea, or I have an idea. Most of the people say, I have an idea. Why should I do it? Are we talking the same language here? So most of the people say they have an idea that they're talking the same language, but they're not 100% aligned. How it works? How all this model works? So they also have an idea, but they are not sure. They don't know about it, but they have an idea. What does it mean? They most of the time have no idea what means all these terms and dimensions and levels, all this. How can I start? They don't know how they can start. And most of the people, they don't know. They probably know that there are a lot of tools around there, but they don't know how to start. What can I do? Very important. So most of the people, they have an idea what they can do, but they don't know exactly, which is pretty common and acceptable. Where am I going? Again, they have an idea, but they are not sure and they don't know it. They are not 100% sure, which is pretty difficult, but they also don't know exactly. So this is the common scenario. And I just make a very important element here showing that some of these answers in the most common questions, they cannot follow this pattern. That means, so what I'm showing here is like there is no right or wrong answers in this case, but I'm trying to take your attention for what is really important to know before you actually start. So let's go to the next slide where I'm now going to show you what you must know before starting investing on this. Same questions, same scale, but now pay attention. Are we aligned on this? First of all, when we are talking about alignment, we are talking about your drivers, your objectives. So you must have no doubts in regards of if you are aligned in regards of your drivers. You must know that. You cannot have an idea. So it's important that you have no doubts about your drivers, where you want to go. Why should I do it? You don't need to know exactly all benefits that are actually returning to you. But it's important that why you should do it, it's connected to your benefit realization, and you must have an idea about it. It's not required that you know and have no doubts about the benefits, because sometimes benefits, they don't even realized, but you must have an idea. Are we talking the same language here? Now we connect terminology. You must talk the same language with your colleagues. Otherwise, you cannot go ahead. So you must have no doubts about the terminology you're talking about. If you're talking about capacity, you're talking about allocation, you must know, and everybody, this must be very clear across your organization. How it works? You don't need to have an idea about this. So it's connected to the levels of the maturity model. But you don't need to know this. This is something that actually it's gonna happen automatically. So before you start, don't worry, you don't need to know exactly the levels. The model will help you find this out. What does it mean? So now when I ask this question, we are talking about the dimensions of the model. And in this case, you must know about it. You don't need to be 100% or 110% sure, but you must know about the dimensions. Otherwise, you don't know where to go. And we are also going to talk about this later. How can I start? How can I start is actually connect to the right level that you are going to do. So you don't need to have an idea about this, because again, the model will teach you, the model will show you which level you have to start with. What can I do? When we're talking about what can I do is actually the summary overview of a big picture of the entire model. So you must have an idea what is possible to do, otherwise you're going to be blocked or limited in the future. Where am I going? It's connect to the roadmap. You don't need to be 100% sure, but you must know a little bit where you want to go. Because if you don't know this, it's very difficult to actually invest your money or go for a specific direction. So building a very clear roadmap, it's really important in this case. So those are the answers you must know before you start anything. So if we actually compare with the previous answers, you can see that the difference is not that big. So this is actually, you can use this toolset or this table to see where you need to improve before you start. So you can see that in regards of business drivers or objectives, you just need to know a little bit more. Benefits, you know that it's not necessary to know everything. Terminology, you must go and you must understand and speak the same language. Levels, all the levels, you see that actually most of the people, they know there are levels, but it's not very important in this case. Dimensions, really important, because most of the people, they don't know what are the dimensions, but it's critical to know a little bit, and actually this is going to help you define your roadmap. The right level I should start, don't worry, it's not that important, the model is going to teach you this. Summary overview, you should know your limitations for this tool or the model. So that's why it's really important that you have an idea about it. And roadmap, again, you need to know where you're going, otherwise you are just investing money in the wrong direction. So use this tool and you will see exactly where you need to improve before you start anything. Okay? So okay, let's go to the next slide. So back to our resource management maturity model and how to enable organizations to define and execute effective resource management strategies. Everything you're going to see from now on is part of a pilot that was done with United Nations. So that's why I actually changed the slides. So let's go. So very important question before you invest on this model is you need to know your business drivers. And what are your business drivers, the most identified drivers to actually implement a model or use a tool like that? First of all, everything related to resource management is business critical. It's a very important area to invest. Everything you do around this, you have an impact across your entire organization. So one of the drivers for this is business importance. History of previous initiatives. Using this model or using any model, you are actually able to track record. That means you know what has failed before, you know what worked, and you know how you can go. So you can actually even compare with other organizations and learn by mistakes. So failures actually is going to become lessons learned to you. Provide a focused guidance. So it's really important actually that you know exactly, you have a guide. You don't need to create everything from zero. There are guides out there. So we having a focused guidance in resource management maturity model, you know what to do and know where to go. And support improvements, exactly. So you know where you have done, and this is going to provide you information enough to show you where you have to go. And very important point is all those drivers, they are connected to your objectives. So your project must have objectives to deliver, and those drivers, they must be connected to these objectives. Going to the next one, I want to make some questions. This is a very good slide and you can use it across your organization, but basically those are common questions that most of the organizations cannot answer right now. So question for you is, I want to know if you're able to answer one of those questions below, okay? So first of all, where are my resources working on? Do you know where they are working on each project or where? Second, why is it so difficult to take on new projects? Is that difficult? Is that easy? How you actually concepting new projects? Where are the resources always overbooked? Why they are always working too hard, working overtime? Do you have control of how the work is assigned to your resource or not? How people assign work to your resources? Will you have enough availability or capacity in the next months to take these new important projects? So are you going to have enough capacity for the next months to take new projects? Can you answer that? Do you have the right mix of skills to meet project demands? it's very important to understand that maybe by using something you can identify what are the lack of skills that you need to improve or hire. What is the cost of this group of resources in that specific month or set of projects? Can you identify the exact cost that you are spending on a set or group of resources or a group of projects? How do I prioritize work already underway to make room for new work? So how can I actually stop doing something that maybe it's not important anymore to do some new work? Are you able to do this? Do you have a process to support this? And how can I spare this critical resource for that really important period? So it's really important that you should be able to have flexibility across your pool, because otherwise you always depend on some resources. I would like to know if you can answer one of those questions. Most of the organizations, they cannot, and if you cannot, it's a very good point and start to invest on something in regards of the resource management model. What are the benefits I will have in regards of the resource management model? The benefits are very, very simple. First of all, we will speak a common language. We all know where we want to go, so we know what the terms means. We know what we need to attack and solve problems. We have now support of a roadmap, so you know exactly how you can grow your maturity, because there is support. This model supports a roadmap. Totally transparency. Everybody knows what it's described based on the levels, dimensions, so you have transparency and visibility across the organization. It's clear for everybody what and where you all are going. And also the model will help you find the right software. So it's also giving the benefit of defining and selecting the right software for you. So what you need to do is just activate these benefits and start using the model. Activate the benefits. Terminology alignment. Really, really important subject. And what I'm going to talk right now, it's really, really common that people, they know what the terms means, but they are not aligned across the organization. So it's really important that you have this alignment before you start talking to other people, because maybe you're talking about something and the other person is not understanding with the same terms. So resource capacity, resource utilization, resource allocation, resource demand, tasks, and governance. Those are the terms and that you must be aligned across your organization. So when you talk about capacity to your project manager or resource manager, they should know exactly what you're talking. Utilization, allocation, all this. I'm not going on details on all the terms. I will just give you a very short description of what should be. So resource capacity, total potential working time. Resource utilization, total work assignment. Allocation, units of allocations based on the resource capacity in percentages. Most of the time used for the resource managers. Resource demand, potential or proposed work assignment. Tasks, any identified project work. Governance, it's the process of assigning work to a resource. So these are very simple explanations and descriptions for each one of the terms, but you must align across your organization. And this does not need to be completely aligned with all the people of all the descriptions. As soon as your organization know when you're talking about utilization, you're talking about total work assignment or your own definition. Levels. Really, really important how the model works. The model works with different levels. And you can see here that we have 5 different levels. Those 5 different levels, they are divided and they have their main title. So level number 1 is work visibility. When you go to the level number 2 is controlled assignment. So the first one is just showing what people are doing, what people are working on. Second one, you start making more detailed assignments for your tasks. Level number 3, governed capacity. So you start actually sending the right resource to the right project because you know their capacity. Level number 4 is schedule-driven assignment. Because now you know where to put the right resource, your project managers will be able to give you and drive resources for the work according to your schedule. So you have a clear plan across time. And final one, granular management. And when you actually use the tool in a very high level of details and you have a clear picture, everything works like a charm and without any interruption or any mistakes. Not mistakes, but any confuse. You know your process, you know how to assign resources, you know capacity, you know your teams, you know lack of skills, and you use this to manage projects, reassign resources for different projects, prioritize projects. That's the level number 5. Dimensions. The dimensions that we have in the tool, they are connected to all levels. That means all these dimensions that we have here, they do not belong only to one level, they belong to all levels. And then we're going to show you in the next slide how you use this in a matrix to define your roadmap. So first of the dimension, assignment granularity. So how I'm making the assignments for my resources. Project roles. Is the roles in my company clearly defined? Everybody knows when I talk about a senior developer that what I meant. Resource cost. Are you able to budget or forecast costs in regards of resource utilization? Resource approval. Do you have today in place people with the power or the responsibility to approve demand for your resources? Capacity planning. Are you able to tell me exactly how many people you have in that specific group of resources? Governance. Are people following your step-by-step process? How is the assignment for resources are being doing? How you're using this to make and optimize your process? And business value. So how we can use the levels and the dimensions to actually give you a clear picture of your roadmap. And this is a very, very cool picture because you can actually see all the levels and all the dimensions going across all these levels and how you can improve. Just by looking at this table, I know exactly what I need to do to improve for the next 5 years in my organization or 5 months. So it's very important that you have this picture. Then by knowing the terms, knowing what a dimension means, you can say and actually plan ahead which one of the levels according to that dimensions you want to achieve in the next times. And we are going to talk about this in the next slide. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is a very, very easy way that you can use to define your roadmap. First of all, you need a timeline. Based on the timeline, you can use our levels and our dimensions. So make something like that, and we have now our project is going to start on October and finish on December, the first phase. First thing you need to do, you know your period of your project. You know all the drivers that you're looking for and objectives that you need to achieve in this first pilot. How can you do this then? You go across all the dimensions and the description of each of the dimensions and select the level you want to achieve. So you know now that you are not going for very complex assignments in your schedules. You know that roles across your organization must be clearly defined. And also you know that for roles you have more information in regards of that because you have resource pools and you have more information on that. That means you don't need to stick in one level only. So you can stay in the level 1 for assignment granularity and level 2 for project roles. And then you go and select all this information for all your dimensions. Resource approval. You know you don't have enough maturity right now to make different and complex steps. Capacity planning. You know it's still difficult for you to identify your people around. Governance, you cannot ask too much for your guys and you don't have time to actually define an entire process for your organization. Business value, how you're going to use this and how you're going to bring the value for your company using the tool. So when you do like this, just by looking at this picture, you know exactly the roadmap for your first implementation. That means I will achieve level 1 in full capacity in all items and level 2 in roles and cost because I can and I have this information. So now after this you can even identify that, or when you finish, that in January or February or the next phase for this, what I'm going to achieve. I know I can actually go on my resource approval dimension, more capacity planning information, governance can be improved, business value can be improved. You can also say that you know that in your assignment granularity, you cannot ask too much to the project manager at this point, so you're not going for this right now. So then you continue growing what you can, and you know it is possible to achieve. So now you know for project roles that you can even go further on this. You resource cost, you can go for budgeting and more complex information, which is nice. As soon as you finish all these steps, you will know what you achieved and what you did not achieve. That means you can plan according to your experience, and you have a table, you have a roadmap to help you. You have something that supports your growing. Next stages, March and April. What I'm going to do, I know I can now go for more complex scheduling. I can now go for more information in my roles. I can now, and you go and you build this roadmap, which is your reference. And you should use this to actually grow your tool. What are the time? I'm using some months here, so 2 months, 3 months for each one of these levels, but depend on the size and complexity of your organization. And also, you need to understand that this is something that we are planning to do. We have the tool and the model to support this, so you have a clear roadmap and where to go. This should be shared with everybody because they will understand when new functionalities or new requirements arrive in this rollout for the entire organization. Hope you like it, because this is very, very easy to use by using the model and planning according to your capacity. Okay, next one is how can we apply this model and have a demo? So I'm going to show you right now actually how to make a pilot of this solution. Before we start, do I need a pilot, or can I just do? My recommendation is there are a lot of tools out there, and you should consider having a pilot. Otherwise, you have to do it by yourself. And most of the time, when you do it by yourself, what you see in 99% of the cases, people use Excel to actually do their pilots. Is it okay to do it? Yes, but it's not scalable. You cannot grow if you just do using the Excel as your main tool. So it's important, go out there, look at the tools that already exist, and go for a pilot. So that's my recommendation. Yes, you need a pilot. How can you start? Very, very important questions. And this is, again, it's the questions that you should ask yourself, and was the questions that we asked when we did the pilot for United Nations. So first of all, we had compliance. Everything we need to do must be compliance of UNOPS. We cannot go for things that are not complying to the rules and standards. So we knew compliance according to UNOPS. You probably have your own compliance in your organization. Follow them, because otherwise you will waste time trying to go in a different direction. We knew we were going for a cloud platform. And cloud platform, there are many out there. In this case, we selected Office 365, which is a huge platform. If you don't know about it, you should look at it, because it is today one of the most powerful cloud platforms that you can count on. PPM solution. What's going to be our PPM solution for this model? We decided to go for Project Pro for Office 365 and Project Online. Everything under the cloud of Office 365. Business intelligence. Many tools for business intelligence. In this pilot, we decided to use Power BI and Excel and PowerPoint Office clients to actually provide all the business intelligence that I need. By looking at this, I have a very clear picture of the architecture that is necessary. So you know that you must follow your compliance for your organization. You have a cloud platform that will support all the components that you need. So I have project and PPM solution, Power BI supporting my BI, and together with Office clients also supporting my BI. Okay, assessment approach. Again, this is the way we used, but you can define and actually elaborate your own approach. But what we recommend to do, it's just following one of these steps. It's going to help you to actually guide you how you can make this assessment approach. First of all, you need to select a model. There are many models out there. After you have selected your model, you need to understand your model. After understanding your model, you can now identify user needs. So you can now start talking to users or your organization to understand their needs. You need to understand the current user set of skills. That means how technical they are, how conceptual they are. You cannot just arrive and try to achieve level number 5 if the current set of skills at your organization does not provide that. So it's very important that you understand the set of skills. Match the tool capabilities with your model. That means using the model in one side where you know where to grow, you match this with your tool capabilities. In our case, Project Online, so you can have a matrix exactly what you are achieving on different stages of your roadmap. Apply to a tool, so you know what to do, you have matched the capabilities, then you apply to a tool and continue defining a roadmap. And if you look here, this is just an example how you can actually use the dimensions, levels, matching directly with your tool. Could be any tool here, but you can look on each one of the levels and dimensions and see all the capabilities of each tool that you have selected. So for Project Online, just an example, if I'm talking about research have different roles, I can easily match with research custom fields, research RBS in my Project Online environment. So use this to match and know exactly which capability you are going to roll out in your tool. Process definition. Process definition is something really important. Without the process, the tool cannot do anything for you. So keep in your mind that the process, first of all, must support both model requirements and organizational needs. You cannot just do too much in your process to support the model, but then your research, they will take so much time to learn and actually execute their tasks. You cannot. You have to remember that both they need to work together, and the maturity of the model and the users and organization should grow together. So don't try to expect from your users, and don't try to underestimate your model, okay? The process should empower the users and not confuse them or overload them. Remember, the process that you define is to optimize. If you have a roadmap matching with your process, you know exactly what you can expect from your users. And if they are aligned, they will understand and they will do all the effort to follow those rules and steps. The process should not block progress. So you could, at least in the beginning of your rollout or your pilot, you should not block users to do things because, first of all, it's possible to track, and it's good that they have flexibility to go further when they need. I don't know how critical it's your type of business, but in our case, we cannot block users for some of the steps. And remember, do not block progress based on the process. The process should allow face-to-face communication. Of course, you cannot just have everything in the tool, nobody talk to each other. No, the process must allow face-to-face communication. They need to talk to each other. They have collaboration, communication between them. And the process most important part is enable the PMO. By having a process, you know where to attack, you know where is the problem, you know where you're going slow, you know why you did not select that project, you know why you're not billing. Enable the PMO based on your process. Okay, so going a little bit for the demo now. What I want you to pay attention is the process you can see in the bottle that we have: project creation, research demand, capacity planning, research optimization, project execution, progress, visibility, and billable invoice. These are the steps I'm going to follow. They are not the entire process that we have built in this pilot, but I will follow these steps to show you how the tool can actually support you. So first of all, how can I access my tool? So it's very simple. What I need to do is I can access my Office 365 environment. By accessing my portal, I have all the tiles that actually provide me an easy guidance on what I have to do. So what I'm going to do right now is, first of all, access my projects area. And now you see our famous, old and beautiful PWA. So now in my PWA, let's go back to the slides. And what we are going to do now is the project creation. So what I need to do for the project creation? First of all, I have identified different types of projects. So where you can see here, I have development project and management project. So by selecting one of those, I will jump to the creation of my project. So what we are doing right now, we are supporting new ideas and project creation. Some fields that are required to create my project. So I just need to set this information and then the project will be created. Let's do it together. So what I need to do is I go for my project center view. In my project center view, I have all my projects, and I can just select one of the types. Based on these types, I just need to type, so MPUG presentation, and I will select some areas. I will take, in this case, we are not using the department, but what I'm going to take is a location. This is going to be in Sierra Leone, and I'm still in a draft phase. By doing this, I create my project. What the tool is doing right now is, the tool is processing behind the scenes and building the workflow behind and building all the information that will support my development project type. So the tool is now going to provide me access to more information that it's kind of a project details, where the PMO or who is creating the project can work and elaborate on some extra information to provide more data for the PMO. So when you see here right now, I'm able now to have some dates and some information. So what I need to do now is, after I create my project, is I will assign to a project manager. That means I can easily select from all available project managers. I select one of them. So let's take Allan, and done. One of the things that we have done, if you just go to the next page, is we have some predefined tasks on all projects, and we also have loaded all the generic resources in our projects to facilitate the project manager to continue. So I now gave Allan access to this information, and he's going to access the project for the resource demand. So going back here, first of all, before you start working with resource demand, you must have clear role definition, and we have this in the tool today. So if I go to my resource pages or my resource pool of resources, I have a role definition clearly, so the managers, they know what to ask. So what I'm going to do right now is I will request generic resources. So what I need to do is I go to my project professional. In my project professional, what I'm going to do is I will open my existing project, input presentation, using the client. So now what I'm doing is I will check out this project for myself, and if you look, what I need to do now is set and create some information, create some tasks and assign to generic resources. So what I'm going to do right now is I need the project online specialist. And who is going to work on this? I know that is going to be a retainer. So what I'm doing right now is I know that this project will start right now for the next 45 days. I need, in this case, procurement support for 15 days. And who is going to work? It's going to be a generic procurement account. Look at this. You can now see in your corner here. So if we go back to the slides, after you define your roles, so you create your tasks in a high level, you find their generic resources, and the tool will now help you fix that engagement. So you can use the Fix in Engagement Inspector to identify that you have not requested those resources. So what we are going to do now is I will right click here and Fix Engagement Inspector. What I'm looking right now is I have this task with an amount of work, and I can view the engagement conflicts. When I go to this page, you can see here that the tool will provide me a step-by-step how to create a new engagement with my resource managers, which is amazing. So what I need to do is just create an engagement. And what I'm going to do here is like, I need someone with at least 5 years experience. And or maybe this goes to my comments because it's not it. And here I can just say PPM specialist. I know the time that I'm going to use. I will use 100%. Then I click OK. By doing this, what the tool is now telling me is you can from here submit this engagement request directly to your to your resource managers. So exactly what I want to do. So submit. If I go now, you can see that my icon is now grayed out. But if I go to my procurement, I can do exactly the same step. So I need just procurement, assessment, someone with experience in Asia area. And okay, the same thing, the tool now is telling me submit and ask to your resource managers that you are requiring that specific amount of days for your users. So what I need to do is I request. So one of the things I can see here is if I go to my resource engagements page, I'm actually requesting retainer not in the amount of work that I need. So I can see here that is proposed work. So all the proposed work, it's actually here. If you want to change something, you can just come and change the proposed work, which is perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I will keep this open because I can see it's still proposed, so I cannot use my resources. Going back to the slides, I have requested, the tool is providing me all the steps. As a resource manager now, I can check demand capacity and availability. So when I go now to the browser, and what I would like to do is, first of all, I would like to check all the retainers, and I would like to check all procurement. When I do this, I have two options. First option, I can check capacity planning, where I can see the resource utilization across the months and the capacity. I can see the capacity and engagement roadmap. And if I open a new page now, I can do exactly the same with the same resource and check all the requests. So look at this. I can see that I have my input presentation, and in my input presentation, it's being requested 360 hours for retainer and 120 hours for procurement. When I go to my capacity, I can look exactly who on each role has the availability. So I can actually see here that Allan is available, which is perfect. I can use him as my retainer. So when I go back, how can I give Allan as a retainer? Simple as this. I just select someone who I know has the availability and I accept. By doing this, like Allan match the requirements. And okay, procurement, I don't know yet who is going to work on this, but I can do two things. I can guarantee that I will hire someone, so you can accept as a procurement and say, we probably need to hire someone. And okay, so now what I'm going to do is I can go back to my project and refresh my engagements. And what you can see is now I got committed work for procurement, and Allan is now also committed. That means I can go back and replace this by Allan, and I will keep my procurement guy here because it's not defined yet. If you want to check the comments from your managers, you can just double click and you can see here all the comments and all the history that you have requested. Amazing, right? So going back to the presentation, I have checked my capacity, my availability. I have also located. I now can see in 2 pages what are my availability, what are my demand, and as a resource manager, I easily replace roles by named person. So I can just select and show what is going to be presented. I can confirm writing some comments and give this resource to my project managers. As a project manager, I can check that my allocation is not proposed anymore. It's now committed, which is what I expected. And you can replace that generic role by named role in your plan. Always remember that after you have changed generic role by named role, publish your project. By publishing your project, we are actually going for a second step, which all actual and billable work come from timesheets. So everything is connected and giving you all the power to plan, get the resource, and get progress from your tasks. So going back to our slide, what we're going to do now is give progress to this information, give progress to my project. So what I need to do is, first of all, I will just close this project and go back to my PWA, where I want to just use a different account. So now I'm using Allan as my account. So you can see here that I'm using Allan. So what I'm going to do is I will go directly to my timesheet, where I can see all the tasks that have been assigned to me. So I can actually see here that I have generic project assistance and project online specialist task. And I can start telling what exactly I'm doing in that specific week. So let's clean our timesheet and say that I worked 4 hours here, and I worked 8 hours here, 5 hours this week, and a very tough Friday, I worked 9 hours. I had some training here, I had 1 hour training here as well, and I spent some administrative time during the entire week. What I'm doing right now is I can save my timesheet by using the timesheet tool connected to my project plans. I can send progress for these tasks to my managers, which is amazing because they don't need to ask you what they don't need to do. This is coming directly to their plans. So what I'm doing right now is like, this is the progress for the week. You can even say that I had to work more this Friday because of that. And then you send this information. Now you're telling your manager that your progress, all the progress sent from timesheets is automatically approved to make faster the process, so the process works faster for you. So what I'm going to do right now is we go back to the presentation. I have used my timesheets. I can, as a project manager, approve or not. As I said, it's automatically done. It's automatically approving right now, but you can apply workflow approvals to say that this task is actually working, have more hours than expected or not. So you can even use this using Project Online. Visibility, how we can actually analyze all this data in a beautiful way. First of all, we have Power BI to support us. So we have a big dashboard with all information for all my resources. I have timesheet information where I can analyze all the timesheet information for many resources. Availability for all my resources in one place only. An overview of all my resources and pools and projects and actual work. And engagements, where I can check what is the request and what is the demand and what has been committed to my projects yet. So let's take a look at Project Online, Power BI now. So now we are going to access the Power BI part. And how I do that, I go to my front page of Office 365 and I can just click on Power BI, simple like that. And look at this. Now we are loading a very, very powerful tool for business intelligence. So everything, you can access this from anywhere, any device, and look at the dashboards that you can have. So we can check for my entire organization, availability, capacity, committed work against requested work, all the team that I have and how is the capacity according to each team. How can I have done all the requested work and billable work across all my organization for all projects. I can check even availability. What is missing here? You can see that you have a lot of committed work. So in December, you're almost running out of availability in your organization. All the billable work by project. So how many hours you are using on each project, capacity across all the pools. And all this information you can have directly into your Power BI. So if you want to explore this, and actually you can even have dashboards for different areas. So if I want to check only the retainers, I can see that I have 0 hours available for retainers next month. And I have 29 days actually available during this month. I can see that on each month here, how many hours I have requested, committed for each resource. Current month, next month, and total availability for the next month. Remember those questions we had before? If you know how many hours you can attend for the next month, The tool is providing you. You can see that my availability for January, it's almost zero. So all this information available for you, even counting with billable work coming from your timesheets. The same for PMs or all the PMOs. You can check availability, capacity, committed work. And if you want to go even further, you can just click on one of these items and the tool will open for you the interactive reports. So if you want to go for an overview of everything, so now I have an overview of all my projects. So if I want to check only PMs, I can click here and the tool will automatically make a filter, or I can make some filters. For example, I want to check only retainer and procurement. So now I'm only looking at retainers and procurement resources. How is my capacity? How much I have requested work? So if I go for my availability now, the same picture for my entire organization, but if I want to check only for one item, so if I want to see only retainers, I can now see only retainers and all the information for all retainers. I can see that I'm still having 29 days left for the next 2 months. And again, if you want to check only a specific pool of resources, you just need to select retainers and procurement. So now I have a picture of retainers and procurement very fast, just in front of your face, just with few clicks. Same, if I want to check engagements, how much work has been requested on each project, if you need to make any filter, just interact with the charts. Timesheet information. So now you can see all projects that you have been using for billable work. You can see all resources that has been using timesheets. You can see all the information for where they're using administrative work or where they're using on project work. And not only this, because look at this right now. If I go back to my dashboard, in my dashboard, I can actually start asking questions to Power BI. So I can actually say, show pools with most availability in current month. Look at this. They are showing all the resources and the current availability for this month. So maybe next month. So now you're looking for the next month resource pools availability. And this is really, really nice because you can start pinning this to your dashboards. Or you can even say count of projects by location as map. And the tool will automatically show you all the number of projects by location automatically. If you can go even further, you can say, for example, I want to see projects by, let's say by project manager. So I can use project managers in my chart as a legend. So if I just drag and drop here, now it's looking by project manager. So maybe project manager is not a good one, by stage. So by stage now, look at this. I can easily identify how many projects I have in Sierra Leone, on ongoing projects, on operation closed, or even in draft mode. And you can pin this to your chart. So I like this map. So now I want to use this map in my dashboard UNOPS. So when I do this, I can go directly to UNOPS. And if I go down, there you go. That's my map. I can now drag and drop, and I have easy access on all my devices to this map, showing exactly this information. Not only here, but if you go actually, I have made some samples of questions that you can do it. All these charts that you look here, they were made using questions. So if I want to see, for example, count of projects by location as done, you can use this in your Q&A. If you want to see, for example, all the billable work, total billable work by projects in months as stack bar. So you can see month by month, November, December, and all the billable work that you have right now. Isn't it amazing or not? This is really, really cool. So not only here, but you have many, many different options of building charts, and you can just ask total capacity by pool S3 map. And you can see now clearly the capacity you have for all the different pools in the entire month. And if you say, for example, total capacity in current month by pool as a tree map. So now you're looking on at the current month capacity or next month. And that's how business should be doing, right? Easy, beautiful, fast, super nice. I really like this because this is really empowering your users. It's not only this. So let's go back to the slides. So you have seen some of the Power BI. We have other ways to report, and one of these ways we can use just the normal Excel report. So if I go back, I have here to open my Excel report, and look at this. This is a normal Excel where you can use all this data from Project Online and Power BI coming directly as a pivot table for you. And if you want to refresh the data, you just go here and say refresh my connection. And what is going to happen right now is Excel, it's connecting directly to Project Online and bringing all this data directly to an Excel file that you can be using anywhere, even in Excel Online. And all this data is coming completely encrypted and according to your network permissions. So your accounting is actually being validated here. And what it's doing is getting all this information for all projects across your entire organization and retrieving this data directly for you. And as you can see, now it's loading all the data, it's inside your Excel file, and voila, you have now your Excel file showing exactly the availability for every month, and you can even see that this specific resource does not have any more available time during that period. And if you open, you can see all the capacity that he has and where projects are demanding him. So if you want to check, for example, on a specific resource, so let's take Allan. So if I check Allan and I expand here, look at this. Like magic, I can see now that on those weeks I have requested and the capacity for Allan, it's not available anymore. So by using this kind of tools to report, you have a clear picture of what is going on in your company. You can see where the yellow color it's appearing, you have no more availability. And when you see red, you have to react, you need to hire more people, or you need to work on that. Isn't it cool or not? I love this, it's really nice. So going further here, if we go, not even this, we can use PowerPoint as live reports. So what I'm going to show you right now, it's really nice, and it's one of the most nice features that you can use. Is standard of Office, okay? So what I need to do now is just open my PowerPoint, which is a normal PowerPoint, but if I present this PowerPoint, you can see here some slides. Those slides are live data. So when I present this PowerPoint, you can use your template, no problems. When you go, you are looking now at Power BI data directly in your PowerPoint. And how this works, if you actually go to the slide, in one of these, you can see that I'm connected to Power BI here. So what I'm looking is live data directly from Power BI. So if I go, for example, for retainers, look at this. Do you remember this chart that I'm showing here? It's exactly the same information live in your PowerPoint. That means from your PowerPoint, you can easily say, okay, I would like just to export this as a PDF. And what I need to do is just export, save somewhere, because I got my live data, and now I would like to share this with my team or my users or my managers or anybody. And look at this, you have a live. This is just your PowerPoint presentation using live data from Power BI. Believe it or not, this is so amazing, because think about how many hours you can save by just opening a PowerPoint and your presentation is done. You know exactly the picture of your organization, all the capacity, availability, everything across different polls. It's really nice. It's really nice. Okay, let's go back here. Next one is, of course, mobility. All these you have in front of you just by using your apps or your phone. So what I'm going to show you right now is exactly this picture you can see here. It's the data coming from Power BI directly to your mobile phone. What I'm going to do right now is, I don't know if you can see the picture, but what I'm going to open is using my iPad. I will just open my Power BI, and inside my Power BI, I can just go to UNOPS and look at this. You have now the same dashboard that you had before. Not only this one, but they are interactive. You can actually work with them. You can use even the Q&A tests. So when you go here, same thing. And as you see in the picture, it's incredible. All devices are already there, and Power BI is for free. Everything you're seeing here, it is for free. Okay? Remember that when you're making your choice of your BI tool. So going further, what we are doing right now is I already have shown it to you. They're asking questions, so you can actually make normal natural language questions to Power BI, and it will understand and bring you data. This is so cool. This is the first time I'm showing this, but this is actually the Cortana integration. And what I'm going to show you right now is how to use Cortana connected to your Power BI to actually give you intelligence and live data in front of you and directly with your Windows 10. Okay? Are you ready to see Cortana working together with Power BI? What I'm going to do is just minimize this and look at this. Open Cortana and ask a question. Show Ghana pilot overview. Now Cortana, it's actually looking directly to my Power BI and giving me an answer as a sheet, so I can build this even better. I can interact with this. So if you click in any component, you can actually see the impact across everything. So I want to look at only this project, for example. All this data is now live for you here. Another sample. Let me see. I want to see show all pools of resources. Show pool with most availability next month. By asking this to Cortana, she's now going directly to my Power BI and showing me the data for availability on each one of the pools next month. And you can see exactly the information that you are asking for. And this you can actually go and play so much around. So now show projects grouped by project managers in location in a map. Look at this. You have an interactive map where you can see which project managers is managing their projects on each one of these locations. Amazing, right? That's the future. It's Cortana Analytics used by bringing you data directly in your hands. And you can expand and use this so much. You can even do this in your phone. So that's really cool feature that Microsoft just released. And I think I'm actually ending right now. We're almost running out of time. I hope you enjoyed. And questions from now on. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye bye.